speak with people. It's always nice to speak to people interested in these issues. So this let me also say that this was a challenge for me, because I do that as a job, but not focused on individuals. And I think today the presentation is more for individuals. My core business is more about companies, setting up companies and the fiscality of companies. So doing an introduction because one of the themes that you have, understanding taxes in Portugal. The taxes in Portugal are divided into three main families of taxes. The main one, the one is consumption taxes. That the most example, the best example of that is the VAT, IVA, that we call in Portugal. Every time we buy something, we have VAT in the price of the good we are buying. After we have the patrimony taxes, the tradition is wealth taxes. It's about the patrimony. Some of you that already bought houses in Portugal, you know that you have to pay taxes when you buy a house, and also there are periodic taxes on patrimony. Like when you buy a house, you pay IMT, is a CTO tax, and every year you pay IMI, and additional to IMI, that is a tax for when the real estate goods is very, very expensive. So, and after we arrive to the family that we are talking here, that are the income taxes. And in this case, we have the IRS for individual, for people like you, and we have the corporate tax for companies and so on. So till now, we're gonna be focused on the last family that I talk, that is the income taxes, and especially on IRS. So how is the IRS in Portugal? Look, the Portuguese government, the IRS is a global tax. People that live in Portugal, taxpayers, should declare the world income that they have. The world income, not only the income that the people or the taxpayers won in Portugal, but the incomes that they have from abroad also.
But Jehovah has accomplished this with.
Okay. So this is I was talking here. Taxpayers should declare the world income. Of course, if you have incomes from Nigeria, it's very difficult for the tax authorities in Portugal identify that you have that incomes. So if you don't declare it, it should not be a problem, because nobody will know it. But the law says that. So which income should we declare? The first one, that is the more common, is income from work, as employee or as a freelancer. That is very known. A lot of you already know that are the recibos verdes. This is not more than invoices that you issued when you work for someone as freelancer. After, we should also declare capital gains. This is people that have investments in capital, and what should be taxed on this case? The interest, if we won interests, or the dividends, if we invest in bonds, not in bonds, in shares. Bonds is interest. Another family that we should declare is that people that owns properties, real estate goods, that are the rents of houses. It's also a category of income that we should declare. And another family are the profits that we have in investments. When we buy, for instance, when we buy and sell a house, real estate, if we have capital gains, if we have a profit in this, we should declare it. If we buy and sell shares, we should also declare bonds. And now that is common, this year is the first year that we should start declaring, is in crypto currency. We should also declare that. And when I start this presentation about the individual taxes, I said that we should declare the world income. The last family that I'm including here, that are the most common cases, are incomes from abroad. We have an attach when we do the declaration that are the incomes from abroad. Okay. What should I say now more? Okay, what should I say now? Now, in my guide, I have here a thing that is important, because some of you arrived in Portugal because the government had a policy that is the NHR, non-habitual resident status. This is a policy to attract people, employees or employers with high value professions, like software engineers, mechanical engineers, doctors. If you live here already for some time, you know that we are facing problems with no doctors available for the national health system. So this policy was to bring to Portugal people qualified and to work in sectors with high value added thing. What is the main advantage of that? Is that people that come under this status from working incomes will only have a flat tax rate of 20%, on which for the people that is here knows that is a very competitive tax. Okay, after in the guide that Lekan told me, we are now achieving arriving to the period of declaring taxes. We had the incomes last year, and now from April the 1st to end of June, we should make our tax declarations as individuals. Okay, what is necessary for that? The people that arrived here in Portugal, to exist in Portugal, one of the things to exist here that you need, that was to obtain the fiscal number. It's called the NIF, Número de Identificação Fiscal. So if you work here, you already have a NIF. To make the declaration, we need to have a password, and not just for a password to interact with taxes, because the declaration is made online. So we need that. Doing the declaration, we have to declare all the incomes we had. And we should declare also, having also included in our declaration the family members. Okay. So how does it work? We declare every family of incomes that we have, that I described previously, and we have some expenses that we can deduct. Which expenses are there? Health expenses, education expenses, also expenses, education for kids and the family dependents, some insurance expenses, mortgage interests, and some VAT from general expenses, some VAT. This is a policy that the government puts for the people to ask invoice in every transaction. Of course, you understand that the people ask a lot, do you want invoice or no invoice? Deducting some VAT in the declaration brings the economy to be declared, to be not under the table, brings the economy to the top of the table. So is the main reason for that. So this is what I have about IRS. Okay, Lekan?
Yeah,
you there?
Mr. John. Yeah.
Yes. So these are the things, the main things that I have for IRS. I don't know if there are questions or not.
So there are questions. So I have one. The first question I have is, who is eligible to file tax return in Portugal?
Sorry?
who is eligible to file tax return in Portugal?
To fill tax return.
Yes,
Okay.
to file.
To file. Yes. Look, this is a question easy, but it has a lot of things that we should understand. If someone has any income last year, we should declare it. But it's also as behind the where the people are resident. If you are a fiscal resident in Portugal, to be fiscal resident in Portugal, you need to be here at least half a year plus 1 day, 186 days. So if people are here 186 days and have some income, he should do the declaration, okay? The question is that one.
Okay.
Okay.
So the second question I have is, if I had a child the last financial year, if I had a child the last financial year and was unable to add him was unable to add him under my status to file before the deadline, is there a possibility to still do that? And if not, will it have any effect when I file my taxes?
Look, to communicate the familiar aggregate, I think it's more important just for people that get divorced, that that the child belongs to the mother and in some parts. So you can always, if it is a child in a family in a normal family, mother, father, kids, we can only declare the child with no problem. Yes, understood?
No. Maybe you can say that again. So what the person is saying that if he or she had a child in the last financial year and was unable to have the child to his or her status, is it possible to still do that? And if not, will it have any effect when I file my taxes?
It is possible to declare with the child, no problem. It is always possible to declare with the child. That if the child, first thing, the child has to have a fiscal number. When he gets registered in Portugal, he's going to have a citizen card. In the citizen cards, one of the information that has is a NIF fiscal number. So it is possible always to include him.
Okay. So the next one is, how do I claim tax refund? Then how to pay tax after opening an activity. So how do I pay tax return? How do I claim tax refund? And how do I pay tax after opening an activity?
How do I get tax return? Look, in 1 year, you work here, and now we do the declaration. And the declaration go to the system, and they will return a value. And we have always three different possible returns. One is to pay some more tax. So we will receive a letter or an email or something, and we'll come with an amount to pay. Normally, the month to pay is in August. So the tax for 2024, after doing the declaration, if someone has to pay still more, the month to pay is in August. So, okay, understood? This is when it is to pay. Second chance, the return of the processing of the declaration will return at zero value. So nothing to do. The other thing is the declaration return refundable tax. So if it returns, the tax authorities always demand an IBAN, a bank account. So after being processed a couple of weeks after, the money will be in the account of the guy that make the declaration. Now the question about the activity, which is the second question about the activity. To pay taxes, if open activity. Yeah,
yes,
was
exactly.
that?
Yes.
Open activity. This is also a very team that has a lot of things to say, because we are in the field of freelancers. You work as a freelancer. A lot of you does that. So we made a declaration also in April. And after, if it returns a value to pay, we have to pay. But being a freelancer, it has a lot of ways to work. So if you do that if you work as a freelancer to a local company, the local company will retain some tax already. Will retain now in 2025 is 23%. So after, when we do the declaration, it's the same as I answered before. It will return a value to pay, or a zero value, or they will give, the system will give us some payment. Totally the same. Okay, Lekan?
Okay. So, okay, the next question I have is, how does tax return work? Also, can you give more details about IRS Jovam?
Look, yeah, how does the tax IRS works? Look,
And can you give more details about IRS Jovam?
yeah, IRS Jovem is for young people till 35 years, and is the first year that we have it happening. So look, about that, we are still learning a lot, because there are a lot of changes that we are still learning. Look, the IRS Jovem was introduced last August, and is working for 3-4 months, and now we are doing the declarations. What I knew is from the news, is you pay less for young people below 35 years that return to Portugal. Is a kind of NHR program that I told you. Is to attract people that left the country, and now that the government wants the people to come back and to start living here, producing value here, and adding value to our economy here. So is that how IRS works? How IRS works? The IRS is a tax that we pay every month. Who is responsible to pay this? Is the companies where we work for. They retain a kind of withholding tax. They retain every month a part of our salary, and the companies pay it every month to the government. In the end of the year, now is the season that opens. We made a declaration, and the declaration is a kind of a resume of everything that happened in the year. We declare we won 20,000. My company keeps me 5,000 as taxes. I have 2 children. I have these expenses of health. I have this mortgage interest paid. I had this insurance. So they make the calculations, and imagine it returns a 4,000 to pay. As my boss retained me 5,000, I should pay 4,000. The government give me back 1,000. The tax, it goes for people. The IRS is progressive. The minimum is around 15%, 14.5%, and it can achieve a maximum tax of 48%, which is a lot. People that earn more than 80K per year should pay 48% of tax, which is a lot. More questions, Lekan?
I have lots of questions for you. So I'm going to take from the Zoom. So someone said after staying 6 months in Portugal as a student and having spent money on grocery, rent, am I entitled to tax return?
No. You just have to declare if he get a salary, if he get an income. So you won't get a tax return. Look, the government don't give tax return. You just have tax return if your boss, if your company retained more than they should. You understand? So if no one pays IRS during the year, of course, he's not going to have a tax return.
So okay, so I think I understand this person. So I can remember when I came in. So imagine if you are a student, for instance, Joe,
Yes.
and you stayed in Portugal for 1 year, for let's say 1 year, the financial year. You paid your school fees. You included your NIF, your NIF. You paid your accommodation. You included your NIF. You paid like all the expenses. So at the end of the year, when you are filing your when you are at the end of the year when they are filing tax return, do you get like a refund? Because I know during my time, after I instructed the university to include my NIF, I think the following year I got a check of 50 euros as a tax return, kind of. I'm not sure.
But no, I don't. Were you paid? Did you get an income? Were you working?
I don't think I wasn't working.
Okay, so you cannot have a tax refund of IRS. If you didn't pay IRS, you understand? So you get a tax refund maybe of VAT when you return to Nigeria, but not a IRS. Because we are talking about income taxes. If you didn't have an income, you don't have to declare, even being here 6 months. You understand? So if you have some tax refund, was a consumption tax, not IRS. You understand?
Okay, Joe. So I have another question is, if you just came here as a student and you work as an independent contractor remotely for a company with double tax treaty with Portugal, like the United States, how do I file?
Look, as a freelancer, you should start an activity. This person should start an activity, and he should issue the invoices to that company in the US. We do a lot for some people from already this community. And after, just that, of course, in this case, there is no withholding tax. You charge the US company by the total amount. And after you get paid, following year, in April, you made a declaration, you're gonna say, look, I had as income this money from US company. So it's just that. Just that. So you need, sorry. Yeah, so it is you invoice and you work as a freelancer. After you made the declaration as a freelancer, what I suggest normally, there are two ways: simplified model or with accountancy. With accountancy. Normally, for an individual, the best thing is to be in the simplified model. What is a simplified model? Is a model that, depending on the activity, it considers maybe 70% of the income as expense, and you are taxed only on the 30% difference. So instead of having an accountancy, for an accountancy, you have to issue the invoice and you have to process all the costs. But individuals has not so many costs. So the best is always to do under the simplified model. A reason, and is also that you have to have an accountant in that case, is because issuing receipts, green receipts, issuing invoices to abroad, you need to be on the VAT system. You're not paying VAT, but you need to be. It's a way to control the activities between different countries. So in this case, I would advise you to found an accountant, to start activity we are talking about income. In the simplified model, and you have to be in the VAT system because you are issuing invoices to abroad. Okay. And from then on, because to be, look, if one of you have high value professions and doing a lot of money, if you do above some amount of value, you should think about setting up a company, a service company, because when we work as a freelancer, you get 1 year of exemption of Social Security. After that, we have also the Social Security. It's not a tax. So to avoid paying a lot of Social Security, because if you work a freelancer and if you have a high value, and if you do a lot of money to abroad, we set up a company. Setting up a company, you attribute a salary to yourself, and we can dominate the Social Security that we are paying.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
You can ask, please.
Yes. So about setting up a company. So how do you go about that? So I mean, from what you said, the way I understood, it seems it's going to reduce the taxes a little bit, maybe. Can you explain a bit further about the setting up taxes and company and simplified regime?
The simplified regime, I already told you, it depends on the activity, and it instantly, if you are in a simplified model doing software engineer, imagine 70% of the income you made is considered the cost, and you are taxed on the remaining 30%, and you don't have to present any invoice, nothing. Okay. But this is good for the first year of activity, because in the first year, you have exemption of Social Security. You are local resident, and after some time, you should start paying Social Security. Everyone that has a salary pays Social Security, so the freelancer should also pay Social Security, and it's something that is for the future, is a pension, and it gives you some advantages in hospitals and so on. Okay, so this is simplified model. If first year is good to be like that because you won't pay Social Security, that's okay. Second year, if you do a lot of money, or if you're doing more above 5,000, 6,000, there are people that make more. We should think about doing a company. But the company, you have to have attention. A company is like a son. We have to take care of it. And it's something that belongs to us, but it has its patrimony, it has autonomy. So the money of the company belongs to the company. But the good thing in the company is that you give some tax reason to expenses. Like what? In a company can, for instance, have a car. If you have a car as individual, you don't have the car, you cannot deduct the car on your taxes. In a company, you can deduct the car. So there are a lot of expenses that are deductible on corporate tax, that is the tax of companies, and are not deductible on taxes as for individuals. So this is the point. But the company has also other costs, as you know. The Social Security is also expensive in a company. It's around 30. I don't know if you have idea. Employees pays 11% of Social Security, but the company, the employer pays around 24%, which makes 35% is a lot. If you have your company on your salary, you will pay 35%. It's a little, it's 34.75%. But you can, having a company, you can dominate that number. You say, look, in my company, I invoice to the US 5,000. I give myself a salary of 1,000. So I pay only 300 150 of social security. And after, I have a car, I have office expenses, I have my computer, I have a lot of expenses that we can deduct in the company. You understand? So, and the company is taxed by the profit. So you can you give a fiscal reason to lots of expenses, and after you have a profit and you are taxed on the profit. You pay taxes on the profit. That money that stays in the company, is money of the company, is not not money of the shareholder of the company. Okay, because if we take this money out from the company, it goes in the part that I introduced. It is a capital gain. Is a capital gain. Is dividends. Is a kind of a dividend, and you should pay also tax on that. Did I explain you? I'm happy to answer questions. Okay.
Okay, we have lots of questions. So, Barnabas, you have a question, so you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Lekon. My question is this. As an employed staff here in Portugal, how do I confirm if my employer is remitting tax on my behalf?
How you confirm this?
Yeah.
We are paying, and we are talking about IRS. Not Social Security, tax, yeah? If we paid
Yes.
taxes on your behalf. This is a good question, because in the end of the year, when you made the declaration, they control it. And if the boss, the company that you work, have not paid, tax authorities will go behind the company. You understand?
Okay. Okay.
So to know that immediately, I don't know if going to the tax department, if they answer that. I believe not. But if you if you say, look, I'm concerned because I don't know if my boss is paying on my behalf is paying the taxes. But look, here the people that stay with the money that belongs to workers, and they don't pay it. This is a crime, and the people go to jail with it. So it's serious. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. I have a second question.
And if you show that when you do the declaration, the government will consider that your boss made the payments, and they go behind him to check if they pay or not.
Okay, that is
Okay.
clear. I have a second
Okay.
question. Yeah,
Please go on.
is it possible to get tax return on groceries? If it is possible, how do we go about that?
On grocery shopping, look, we should.
Yes.
You buy everything during the year with your NIF, and after we have January and February to validate some invoices. Yeah. So you go to there and you say if it is food and drinks. There are and restaurants. You have to include them in the family while validating the expenses. Normally, we need to validate expenses till middle February in the following year. Have I answered you?
No, but how do we show proof? Do we keep record of our receipts, or how do we show
No,
it?
no.
That's my
If
question.
the question, if you give your fiscal number in January,
Okay.
you can go to your area on the fiscal, and you go to a place that is e-factura, and you put,
Okay.
I want to validate expenses. And this is true. All the invoices that were issued under your NIF will appear, and we have to include them as the family they have. It is other expense, it is health expense, it is education expense. There are several families, and normally it goes automatically to the family to whom they belong. But there are some that the system has doubts, and we have to do it individually. Okay.
So if I get you right, each time we buy groceries and we include our NIF, automatically it is detected in the system.
Yes, they go to the system.
Okay, it's clear. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
John,
Hi, Jean.
so Kuma, before you ask your question, I have some questions here. So I would like to take some of the questions on my list. So it says, please, I want to know if I need to file a tax return in a situation where I worked from June to October and my employer was paying my social security and tax, then opened activity in December. Activity opening doesn't pay tax until after 1 year.
Yes. Look, if someone has activity opened, even not having income, he has to do the declaration always. Who has activity open has to always submit a declaration. So in this particular case that she started activity in December, she has to declare it. Concerning the period that she worked as employee during 3 or 4 months, I would advise her also to declare that. Okay, so the answer in that case is yes, for sure.
So another question is, please, am I supposed to pay tax on a cash gift I received from another country?
A cash? What cash?
Am I supposed to pay tax on a cash gift I received from another country?
So I would say no. So if it is a cash gift, what is a cash gift?
Or gift card?
Gift. No, this is someone. No, this is not. Depends. Not €1 million, so should not declare that.
Okay. Rajesh Kumar, you can ask a question, please.
Okay. Actually, it's Rome. I'm working on Raj's laptop. So thank you very much for this, Lekon, and thank you for John for what you shared. My question is actually around somebody that does a B2B. After you talked about the simplified model, I wanted to ask, in the account of the business, can you make an investment, let's maybe in the financial market, without having to pay tax with what is left in the account of the business without being taxed?
Now, look, in a business accountants, if you make some money, it always contributes to the profit, and in the end, you have to pay tax on that if you have a profit. Just that. If you do financial investments in a business company, in a business account, you have to, of course, it contributes to the profit, and if you get profit at the end, you have to pay some taxes on profit.
I do understand the idea of paying taxes on the profit. I'm actually saying that if you pull out money, because you said that whatever you remove from the account basically is going to be taxed. So if you are now making an investment that is not an expense, is it going to be taxed?
It's going to be taxed, yes, sure. Again, because look, we are talking now more about companies, and if you do investments, is a balance operation. You are buying an asset.
Yes.
Is more for the economical, more for in the financial part, and making money, selling and buying, and is the economic part where you create value, and you pay taxes on the economic part. So if you decide to make investments, this doesn't avoid you to pay tax if you got money in the economic part. Okay?
Okay. Then I wanted to ask, when it comes down to the expense for a business, electricity and gas and all these things, can they be is it okay to have them directly debited from the business, the company account?
If the contract is in the business account.
Okay.
If you have a rental contract to a company, the company goes to the electricity or water company and make the contract under the name of the company totally, and the expenses are deductible, and and we are not talking about that, including the VAT is deductible.
Okay. Thank you very much, John.
You are welcome.
Adeleke, please, you can ask a question, please.
Okay, thank you. Please, I just want to know how easy it is to close activity? Because you've been mentioning you can open activity and all of that. For a lot of people who have been saying it, they said it's not easy to close the activity. How true is this? And then what's the disadvantages? Thank you.
No, no. Look, an activity is very close to close. It's very easy to close. An activity as individual, as a freelancer, you just go to your area and you say, I'm going to close my activity today, and it's done. Very, very easy. To close a company is more complicated because a company has responsibility, social responsibility. We call it juridic personality. So it's more complicated to close a company. We have to go to the House of Companies and close it, and it costs some money. So, but an activity as individual is easy to close. Of course, if you close, you have to present taxes till the day you close, but it's okay to close. You just go into your area and you say, I don't want to work anymore as a freelancer.
Yes, thank you. But as you say it's easier that way because the person who were unable to close it went to finance. Finance says they can't close it. They will tell him to go to Laranjeras, they will tell him to go to developers. It took a director of a particular social company to go and meet them, who was for government as well. And a lot of taxes has already been piling up on the person's activity. So it took extra energy and extra effort for somebody to follow the one I'm not going to mention name before they could be able to close this activity. You know, understand what I'm saying? It's easier to say close, but the guys at the finance office, it's so difficult for them to say they want to close. They will be referring you here and there. That's my point.
It's strange because look, but you are telling about someone that already had problems, had debts, had taxes to pay delayed. But look, my opinion and what I do like that is I close the activity, and after I fix the problems, I go to fix the problems, because closing the activity doesn't close the delayed taxes. We have to pay them, and they still on debt. So even understanding your position, I keep the answer. It's easy to close, but we have to, of course, we have to present the performance, everything. We have to present the accounts till the time that we have an open activity. If we miss VAT declarations, if we miss income declarations, of course there are fines to pay. You understand? That's why when open activity, because we are talking about income, this is a little bit complex, because activity also, as I told to people that work to abroad, they have to be in the VAT system. The VAT obliges at least quarter declarations. If we miss just one declaration, I think the fine is around 300 euros. So it's easy, we open activity, we are in the VAT system, we didn't contract an accountant to help us. So we miss one, we miss two, and after, you know, these things,
it's covering over everything right now at the moment.
Yeah. So closing is easy, but we have to fix the problems that are there. Okay?
Okay.
If you want, after I can check the case individually. I let Lekan, if someone wants to after contact me, he gives my email address or something, and we can. Odivelas is also my area, so I can analyze the process to see what happened in this case, in this particular case.
So I think, Adeleke, you can reach out to me. I will give you his email. Then you can have this further discussion. So okay, Miss Asipagra, you can ask your question, please.
Hi, good evening, Joel. My question has to do with the IRS. When you try to, before you file your taxes, usually when you go to your portal, there are times where you see the automatic ones where it actually gives you like what you may get or what you receive or what you have to pay back. And there are times that it doesn't really tell you if you're getting something back or you have to pay something. In that case, it actually tells you to declare or something. But when you try to do it yourself, there are times you get stuck. I don't know. Is there something we're supposed to do there to be able to proceed to the end if you're unable to do it automatically?
Automatically is only for simple cases.
Right.
Simple cases. Look, and the simulation, when there is a simulation that you return a value, so of course, when you returns a value, 90% of the times is the correct value. But it's always say that we might not include all the specifications of your declaration. So sometimes there are mistakes. Look, for NHR status, non-habitual resident status, the system doesn't return any value. If you are NHR, we never have ever written. It's something also new. It started some years ago. Now we're going to the second version of NHR, but you don't have nothing. Look, just simple cases, do it automatically.
Okay.
Just very simple cases. Otherwise, I would always advise to do it. You go there, you see all the attached, you see if the incomes are, the deductions are, the costs from the family, if they are all included. I always advise to go through all these ones. Okay.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I had another question which I wrote down. The thing is, you know, sometimes when you're renting and you're renting from a landlord and they have to give you receipts, but they don't pay it directly to IRS, but you have to put in the receipts. Is there a way to do that? Because I file my taxes by myself if I get the automatic one. But now I get my receipts, but I have to put the receipts myself. How do I do that?
It is you can do it, but this should appear automatically also. This is something that we can control also. If you're living in a rented house, you can check that if your landlord registered the contract and if he's issuing the receipts or not. Okay, if he's not, one thing is you have to check if the contract is registered, and you can do it in the portal Freelancer. If it's not and you paid, you go to the attach H. H is called the benefícios fiscais, and one of the expenses is in the attach H. One of the things is to include the rent of the house we are paying. But you can always do that if the contract is registered. Because if not, it returns a mistake, and you have to contact the landlord. This is one of the things that is good to do, to try to submit the taxes early. Because if something missed, you talk with the landlord, you ask him, please do that, and so on. Okay. It's in the H attach. Annex H.
Okay. This is my last question, ladies and gentlemen. Is the last one. I mean, if you're not self-employed and you are employed by somebody and they pay your taxes, I don't know how the tax system in Portugal works, but when I receive my pay slips, sometimes I notice that it's kind of like progressive. So the more I get money, it's like my tax bracket keeps increasing. What are the tax bracket ranges? For instance, for a minimum wage, let's say 800 euros, is there like a specific amount you're supposed to pay? And then if it exceeds 800 to, let's say, 1,000, is there a specific amount you're supposed to pay in taxes? Does that also apply to the Social Security?
No. Okay. Social Security is the same. If flat tax, as employee, you pay 11%, point. Social Security. Look, 800 per month, you should not pay in IRS with 800.
That was just an assumption. I'm just saying, for instance. Yeah.
Look, it changed last year, and look, I don't know now numbers. I don't know, because it changed so many times. When this government arrived, it changed the tax that should be retained every month, and so I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know the numbers, but of course, but it's totally progressive. Progressive, and when you arrive to huge amounts, you pay a lot. It goes easily to 40%.
All right.
Sorry to not know the exact
No,
text.
that's fine. That's okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Please, Nebi, please.
Okay. My question is, how do you file your tax automatically on the system? I only have two questions. The number one is, how do you file your tax automatically in the system? It was kind of mentioning it.
No, I think automatically it's very easy. It goes you to it's an option that you can say that I want to do it automatically, and it does it automatically, like the name says. It's what I sorry. It's what I have to tell you. It's just this is an option. Do you want to do it by automatically? There are, of course, it doesn't apply to every situation. It has to be a simple situation. I don't know if someone with activity can do it automatically. I think it's only employees and with a normal situation.
Yes, but is it on the eFuturu app or is it on the NIF portal?
It's in the NIF portal.
Okay. Then thank you very much. The second question is, if I am working fiscally in Portugal, like I'm an employee and I'm paying tax, and then also I want to freelance online in an Upwork, which I actually registered with my tax number. Will I be getting double taxes both for the fiscal payments and for the freelance work I'm doing online with my Upwork?
Yes, you're gonna pay taxes on all the incomes you got. The system makes the calculation. But if you wanna do it as a freelancer, you have to open activity. And if it is just an extra job, simple one, of course, simplified model, and I admit that you can be exempt of VAT. So, and after at the end of the year, you declare everything, and under the rules, the system will make the calculations. But you're gonna be taxed on what you won as employee and what you won as freelancer.
So I want to ask, is there any minimum tax, like in Germany, if your first job is paying you the minimum wage and the second job is paying you below 500 euro, the second job is not taxable because it's below 500 euro. So I don't know if in Portugal there is something like that, more like for somebody that is considering doing two jobs, if the person can get a full-time and then have a part-time job somewhere else that is below, is there any minimum amount that you can work that is not taxable as a second job?
Now, here in Portugal, you are taxed for the full amount. Yes, for sure. You might not pay because if you have family, might not pay, but you are taxable on everything. You won.
Okay.
So even if you earn below the minimum wage?
No, because what he asked, he says, as employee, he has the minimum wage. And he has another activity that he wants. He told me that in Germany it should be less than 500, and he won't be paid. He won't pay taxes on that. Here in Portugal, all contributes to the total income, and if it returns the value to pay, he has to pay. I can add another information now in the debate. That is, there is a thing that if look, you are employee and it appeared something to do, a work to do, you might not have the need to start activity. We have one thing that is called ato único, is one-shot invoice. If so, and we don't have to do open activity for that. How does it work? You can do one per year per entity. So if there is a chance to make a work, just a study, a software program, or to go to make, I don't know, a construction, something, we can do ato único. It works the same as Recibo Verde, as freelancer, but we don't have to open activity previously. Okay?
Like you are saying that if you don't open activities for the work, if you have not opened activities at all, you won't be taxed.
No, you always have to pay tax. There is no exemption on that. You might not pay if the value are low, but if it also contributes to the global income. So at the end, you might pay taxes on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Okay, so before I have a question on the chat. It says, if I am engaging in education consultation as my business, how do I declare the tax?
The question, if I'm engaged with?
If I am engaging in education consultation as my business, how do I declare the tax?
But like an easy employee or employer or a company, how do you interpret that?
Nokia G221, I think you are here, so you can clarify, please. Okay, while we are waiting for this person.
I'm here.
Okay, please.
It's just like, imagine like have an education consultation. I'm like a freelance job. I am the sole owner of the business.
Okay, so if you are a freelancer, you have to issue the Recibo Verde and you are taxed as a freelancer. If you work if you do some work as a freelancer, you have to issue the invoice. The invoice here is called the Recibo Verde. So after you are taxed as freelancer. It doesn't matter who is the client. If it is a education, a campus school, doesn't matter. Company abroad, doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bukumi, please, you can ask a question.
Yes, so I wanted to ask, so if I'm freelancing as a tech person, and what about the social security? You explained something about social security. So how much of the profit is taxed on social security and how much is taxed on VAT? So I understand I'm on the I pay like every quarterly, like every 3 months, right? So for social security and VAT. So how is this calculated and what is the minimum and maximum? I mean, like minimum, like the threshold, like the point, the cutoff for what percentage to pay and what. So I want to know this.
Okay. First, let's go in VAT. The VAT depends on two ways. If you are freelancer, if you do more than 15,000 per year, you should be in the VAT. And depending on the service and the job you're doing, the VAT can be 6 to 23%. But all the activities, the normal activities are engineering, construction, economic, accounting is 23%, the VAT. If you expect to do more than 15,000, you should be in the VAT and you charge VAT of 23%. Okay, just this. You should have this value above the value you are charging. Okay.
Okay.
So after the client pays you the invoice plus VAT, and you should go and pay the VAT to the state, to the government. Just point. Social security is different because there are several situations. Look, if you are employee and you do freelancer, both, you already pay social security as employee, so you don't have to pay social security of your activity. Point. Okay? Look, I am employing my company. I got a salary and I have also my activity or freelancer. I don't pay social security in my freelancer activity. Point. Dot.
Okay.
Second point. If you start activity and you just arrived and you get exempt of social security for 1 year. 1 year, you can charge whatever you want and you will not pay social security on that. After 1 year, you should ask, of course, you have it's not NIS number, social security number. And after 1 year, you should declare every quarter what you are invoicing as freelancer. And the system will return a value to pay. Normally, this value is around 21%. Okay? And it returns a value that you should pay in the following quarter every month.
Okay.
Look, I don't know the maximum. But I know the minimum that people are having activity. And if they don't have social security, they pay around 20 euros per month of social security. So the minimum is 20 euros per month.
Okay. So, so for that, like the percentage, so you said we pay 21%.
Yes.
So what is it 21% of what income? Of what
of the income made in the average of the income made in the quarter the previous quarter.
So how much percentage of this income?
21 is around. If you made 1,000 per month,
okay.
1,000 should be 200 that you're gonna pay.
Okay.
Okay, we have more question, please. From Kashi, he says, is there any benefit of adding our NIF, our NIF number when we buy things? I worked for a foreign employer from the month of May to August 2024, then got laid off, got my residency card in January 2025. What are my tax options? What is withholding tax and IRS?
Sorry, let me see if I understood. He was working in Portugal for a foreign company last year.
Yes.
As a freelancer or as what?
It wasn't stated here.
It doesn't say.
It just said, yeah, he didn't say that. It just said he worked for a foreign employer from the month of May to August 2024. Then he was sent off. Then he got his resident card in the month of January this year. So what are my tax options?
Look, if he was paid in Portugal, but for a foreign company, he has to check underneath if they declared something or not. Because like that, a foreign company has not to declare that he paid someone in Portugal. So this might be difficult to just to declare. Automatically, I told you that is impossible. So we have to check if there is some information that the employer puts on the system. I don't believe it would. So it might, I don't know. We have to check. It might be difficult to declare that, but it's possible.
So I think Kachi, you can get in touch with me, and I will give you Joy's email so that you can have this discussion further. Adiola Shakiru is asking that came in through job seeker visa, and I've been working with a company for over 6 months on a minimum wage. Can I file for tax refund?
No. If he has only the minimum wage, of course no one pays withholding tax under her name. So it's impossible to have tax refund. Do you understand? But she has to declare. She should declare, but she will not have any tax refund because no one pays under her name and on her behalf.
Okay. Okay, so another question I have is, I am based in Lisbon and I have an e-commerce business. How do I declare my tax when the income from the e-commerce come from abroad?
Okay. So in this case, this is one of the cases that we have to pay attention. This person should say that he has an activity, and this person should issue an invoice, a recibo verde, for any money he made. You understand? And after declare that, because the money comes from the abroad, but the activity is made in Portugal. So the only way to know that is working is like that. Now, problems with that. Should I declare? No one asked me. Yes, no one asked him now, but the fiscal problems they are, how can I say that? the authorities have 4 years always to analyze the system. So if we're not declaring something in 4 years, in the next four years, the authorities can ask us. So, and after if we haven't declared that, we can have problems. Of course, we have to declare. We have to declare, and we should pay fines and interest, and of course.
Okay. Lam, you can ask your question, please. Elihem, please.
Hey, good evening. My question goes like this. As you had mentioned earlier that if somebody was doing like a freelance or independent contractor role with maybe like say foreign company, and you said you could, for example, say that 70% was in expense and then 30% was in the taxable income. But then somebody recently just asked the question that said that if you were earning maybe let's say 15,000 to 11,000 units, something, give an example of that. So I wanted to know if is the person paying tax on the entire amount now, or is the person paying tax on the part of the income that you say is, should I say taxable, or that's not an expense income? I just wanted to clarify that. That's the first question I have.
I don't know if I understand it very, very precisely, but we are talking about the simplified model. And the simplified model considers a percentage of costs. Look, if it is alojamento local, you know, these Airbnb activities, it considers a lot, 80% or 85%, I don't know. And software is 70%, and others, it depends. But it does automatically. So you are taxed on the remaining. But now I don't understand sorry, the sound was not so good. I don't know if Lekan or Lam can remake the question.
Lam, please, can you
Okay.
I
was trying to understand when he explained that with the difference between when someone, I think he asked the question about are you paying on the entire income you get, and for example, is the kind of cases that if the person was like a maybe software developer, an AI trainer, or something like that. I wanted to understand how much of the entire money end is supposed to be taxed based on the simple system and something that you explained. That's what I was trying to understand.
Look, I have to check here the simplified. If I have my computer here, I can check that because it depends on the activities. But let me see if I have it here. Just 2 minutes to see if I have.
We still have questions, and we are supposed to wrap up by 7:25. So we have 15 minutes more.
Yeah, it depends. Look, and I didn't answer to everything. In the first 2 years of people that opens activity, it goes to that opens activities, we are not taxed in the total amount. We have some advantages, but yeah. Look, it says that look, the most common, the coefficient, the part that is considered the cost is 75%. It says that. And after, it depends on the activity you are doing. Look, in activity, if you do 10,000, they consider they consider 75% of costs. So you're taxed on the remaining 2,500. Okay.
Yes. And then, sorry, the last question, which is the second question that I wanted to just clarify on is when you want to open a tax activity like on the finance platform, I wanted to ask, like, as an independent contractor, what type of activity do you open? Like, for example, maybe if you were into like training of artificial intelligence systems or something like that.
Or your sound, it comes not clear to me. Sorry.
Lam, can you send your could you please send
can you
your
hear me?
question to me? Could you please send your question to me because we don't have time. Abdul, please, you can ask the question.
Okay.
Abdul, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Abdul.
Yeah, please, I want to ask you, do working extra hour affect tax return?
Yeah, extra hours are taxed also on IRS. But you don't, but the problem is not they are taxed on your payslip and after you declare it in the end of the year.
Okay, because someone told me that if someone working extra hour, you need to return money to the government.
I don't know if it's me that should answer.
Okay, thank you.
Shadman, please ask your question, please.
Hello.
Shadman.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Joao. Do you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Joao, I am a PhD student here in Portugal. And still no income here, no job here. And my income is from Iran, my country. And I want to know how can I make a IRS for my taxes, for my expenses here in Portugal? And
Shadman, we have to study your situation because it should be there is an attach for incomes from abroad if you want. But you have a residence card here already?
Yes, residence card, yeah, full-time job permission.
But you're still looking for a job. In this case, look, Lekan will give you my email and we can discuss that after, because we need to understand what are your incomes, how they come, if they come to a bank account, if they are from rentals, from work. If you are here, you're not working in Iran also, so should be capital gains, should be rental incomes, something like that. So we have to study. It's a very specific situation, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, actually, it is the income is from pension, salary, and from rental house, and already we pay the tax in my country, and even here tax is included if I do IRS.
Yes. Look, when do you arrive in Portugal? When have you arrived?
2 years ago.
Already? Did you apply for NHR status? No.
No.
You should. That's why a lot of people from North Europe come to live in Portugal, because we just tax pensions in 10% if they ask for the NHR status. If you don't, you might pay more. Real estate incomes, the rule is they should pay where the real estate good is. So if you pay taxes on the real estate rents that you have in Iran, I don't believe that we will charge you here. Second. The others, we should look at it.
Sorry, what was the first one you said I should do it? The first thing?
Is the NHR, non-habitual resident status. But you
NHR.
But you cannot do it now because you have to apply it on the first or the second year you are here. If you arrived already in more than 1 year, it should be difficult.
But NHR, I've heard it is for D7 visa.
NHR is for D7 and for others visa. You can always apply. People that move to Portugal can always, this is separate, it's not dependent on the visa. If you are a fiscal resident here and you moved here and you didn't live here for the last 5 years, you can apply for that.
Yes, but NHR is for just discounting the tax, yes?
Yeah, and if you work here, if you find a job here, you will pay maximum 20% also.
Yeah, so do you think now I cannot register for NHR?
When you get your fiscal number, in 2024 or before that?
Before.
So it's impossible because you should ask it on the last year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Sherman,
Thank
you are welcome.
Thank
So
you
I
very much.
have a question from Josephine. As a student, can you start a business? For example, I have a store that sells clothes and children's toys. What are the laws surrounding it?
As a student, if you can start a business, yes, everyone can start a business here. It's easy to set up a company. So you should set up a company with this core business and work from there on.
Okay. For Olaiton Oladipo says, what is the effect of not declaring tax, for example? For example, what is the effect of not declaring tax? For example, you worked for 3 months with a company last year and you did not declare your tax.
Look, the system knows if you worked as employee, he will be contacted if he has to declare it. If he just won a small amount, that you don't have to declare. If he wants more than that, it can be tax refundable. So before ending the 4 years, now if it was when in 2024, before ending 2028, authorities, this is for sure, will contact him and ask, look, you know that we know that in 2024 you had some income and you still not declare it. Can you declare it, please? Something like that. Of course, it will have a fine, and of course.
Umi, please, you can ask your question, please.
Yes. So I was going to ask, what is the, so I have the NHR status. So I wanted to ask what's the the percentage I'm expected to pay as taxes, like considering the NHR for tech freelancing. And I mean, this income is from United States or Canada, so mostly from abroad.
Yeah, so it's good. So look, you are in the simplified model?
Yes.
So look, this is more complicated to answer, but in the simplified model, just part of your income is considered to see the taxes, to see how much is the taxes that they will apply to you, and that's all. And after, in these cases, what I do what I do in these cases. I make the simulation not being NHR. And after I read the rules to being NHR, and I submit a declaration that is more profitable for the client. So we have to analyze. But normally, if you work for these countries, is the high value, you should have a good income. So not knowing the numbers, this is random, but not knowing the numbers, I would say that you should do it under NHR rules. To do NHR, this is for everyone. In the declaration, you have to add another attachment. That is, I think, is the L attach. It's just for non-residents. And it's just for non-habitual residents. You declare everything, and after you do the attach, saying that the incomes declared on previous attachments are under NHR rules.
Okay. So what about earnings in crypto? How is it? Is it taxed? Do you declare crypto earnings?
It's the first year that you have to declare. If you make money, like buying and selling with less than 1 year of term, you should declare it. If you have the cryptos for more than 1 year, they are not taxed, but you have to declare. So everyone, I still didn't see the formats this year. This is going to be the first year. The people that has cryptos should declare it this year. That's the only way that they see if you have it in the short time or not, to tax you or not.
Okay, so the first year and the second year, can you explain again, please?
If you buy and sell with less than 1 year, you are taxed on that. You are taxed. If you keep the cryptos for more than 1 year, you are not taxed.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand now perfectly.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
You are welcome, Bukumi. Welcome. More questions? No, you have the micro off.
Sorry. So I'm just going through the questions I have here. Infinix, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this kind of program. I have a little question to ask. Sometimes June last year, I was working under an organization that was paying my social security and my child. Then along the line, I stopped working October. Then for December, I got a job under Green Receipt, which made me to open an activity. And when I spoke to the accountant who was helping me out with the Green Receipt then on how to file for tax report, she told me I don't need to file because for activity, it is until after 1 year before I can be taxable. But I want to ask, can anything be done for the past few months I worked that my social security and tax was paid?
Yes, you should declare. Look, I already told this here. Someone that has activity, if not doing nothing under the activity, we have to declare it and submit the declaration with zero values. The attach for activities, that is the B attach. And of course, and if you did some work before as employee, yeah, you should, there are minimums to declare, but you can always declare. And it's good for you to declare because you are foreigners. It's always good to have a document that you add money and you make the declarations.
Okay, but what can I do now that I think the filing is closed already? What do you think I can do?
For which year? 2023 or 2024?
2024.
No, 2024. No, 2024. The season opens in April. Now, April 1st, we're gonna start filling the declarations for the last year. The season is starts in April and goes till the end of June.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, you are welcome.
I'm grateful.
Lucky, Lucky, please ask your question, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Lucky.
Hi, good evening. I came in December last year. Towards the end of December. I'm a student. I just got a job on minimum wage this month, on the month of 19. So I want to understand where I really fall right now. You get, will I be taxed? Because I've actually not even gotten my first salary because it's still minimum wage. So I want to know where I stand.
If you are working as employee, no, you will not be taxed because minimum salary is exempt of taxes. But you have to fill the declaration next year in April. Just that.
Okay.
Just that. Okay, Lucky.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Joe, someone asks, what is the process of registering a company in Portugal?
What does we have? Very, very, very in a short way. The partners, they have to have NIF. They have to have a shareholder, headquarter. It can be a house where you live. Defining the shareholder, defining the headquarter, the core business of the company. We have to decide what the company is going to do. And the minimal capital, it starts in €1 and goes to no limit. But €1 is not reliable, you know, the shareholders are not committed. So, and we go to a conservatoria, is a house of companies in English, and we do the company. Is a simple process. Okay, so the people, the shareholders, at least one should have título de residência. Otherwise, when we go to open the bank account for the business, it's going to be complicated. Now the banks, they ask a lot of questions, and after the company can start operating, is something that, if it goes well, we can do it in a couple of days.
So I think it's almost 7:30 and the meeting is going to end. So I think we are going to wrap up from here at this point. Anyone that has questions or further questions can get across to me or any member of the Nigerian community executives in Portugal. Mr. Joe wants to say, on behalf of the Nigerian community in Portugal, we want to say thank you for honoring our invite. We do appreciate you, and also on behalf of the Nigerian community in Portugal and the ESCOs, I want to appreciate everyone that joined this event. And also, I want to use the opportunity to also, if you are not a member of if you are not a registered member of the Nigerian community, I want to tell you that try to register with the Nigerian community in Portugal. We always have our meeting every last Sunday of every month. So the meeting for this month of March will be holding on the 30th of this month. That's the last Sunday, and usually is always in Makish. So you are all welcome. If you're a Nigerian here, you're all welcome to our meeting. So we'll be expecting you. We need everyone so that we can move the Nigerian community forward. So we'll be expecting you in the meeting this month. The venue, the location and the time will be forwarded on the various groups we have. So once again, thank you so much for attending, and we hope to see you next week Sunday so that we can move the community forward together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe. Anyone that has a question, they will get to me and I will get across. I will try to link them up with you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I know say
Bye. Thank you, sir.
I know say
Bye, Lekon. Bye, everyone.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.